Today I'm going to teach you how to play aces like a pro. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we'll be doing a breakdown on aces. I will be giving you tips and tricks on how to play them correctly, and I'll be giving a really good tip at the end of the video that'll take your aces game to the next level, so make sure to stay till the end to hear that tip. But without further ado, tip number one. So we get pocket aces. What do we do? Well, I'll tell you what we don't want to do. Do not slow play aces. Don't limp with this hand. A lot of beginning players will see the pocket aces and try to play sneaky, try to play like a trap with them. And while yes, this might work sometimes, this will get you in a lot more trouble other times because you don't want all these players in the hand. That's more chance they have to crack your aces because at the end of the day, pocket aces is just a single pair. It might be the best pair, but a lot beats a pair like two pair, a set, a straight, and a flush. So we do not want to be limping with aces. Tip number two follows tip number one. We want to isolate with aces. We want to raise. If everyone starts limping, we want a big raise so it gets down to heads up, or maybe even take it down right there with all the dead money off pre-flop. And if it's raised and called multiple times, we want a nice 3-bet. Why? Because we don't want a lot of people in the pot. Like we said in tip number one, we don't want to slow play aces. Let's say in this situation. Okay, player 2 raises. He has queen, king suited. Player 4 calls, player 8 calls, player 9 calls. It's up to us. What do we do? Ideally, we 3-bet on a large scale. So, in doing this, we know for a fact player 8 and player 9 will get out of there. Player 8 especially because he was super light in this situation. And in some situations, even player 2 will get out with this hand. Because when you 3-bet, you're saying, hey, I got something here. And a lot of people will get out the way. But player 4 wants to see a board. And this is where we get our max value from pocket aces. So the board's gonna run out pretty clean. 7, 10, jack, 2 clubs. So now, what do we do here? We have pocket aces. Don't really know what opponents have, but we have an idea since they called our 3-bet. We can assume they have a pocket pair of their own or two high cards. And that's exactly what we have in this situation. One guy pocket pair and another guy with some suited connectors of the highest end, the queen king suited. And we also see the board has two clubs. So right now, I will talk about the best flop play for aces. And this will bring us to tip number three. Again, do not slow. This actually takes us to tip number one again. Don't slow play your aces. Two situations. We'll run through the first one first. Okay, we'll bet out big here because we see a potential flush and we don't know, they might have a draw here. So we bet out big, and as we see everyone missed, it folds. We take down a huge pot with aces. That's ideally what we want to do. Let's do another situation. What if we have two hearts and jack? So suddenly we're going to get a call, and it's going to take us to our next tip. So player 4 gets out of here. That's the end of his story. Now we're heads up with player 2. We go to a turn, and it double pairs the board. What do we do now? Well, we do not slow down because what does our opponent have? Not a lot of times our opponent's going to have two pair of jack 10 when we 3-bet earlier. This is why we 3-bet, so we can put people on hands that make sense. So we know for a fact he doesn't have a two pair in this situation. He could possibly have jack king. That'd be a hand you would bet and call a 3-bet with. You could have jack ace, but it's unlikely because we hold two aces, and he could have a pocket pair still. So in our mind, we want to bet out really huge here. Why? Because there's two flushes trying to form. and that's not good. And in our heads, we're ahead here because there's not a lot of options, not a lot of card opportunities our opponent will have here that beats us because we did such a great job pre-flop. This is why we bet and listen to tip number 1 and tip number 2. So taking this aggressive route will get you maximum with aces. We bet it out big here. Our opponent just doesn't have enough chips at the moment to make the call to see one more card. Because we already drug him out through a 3-bet and a big bet off the flop. So he's done. Almost 100% of the time he will quit with his hand. That's how you take down aces with a bit of struggle. And as we showed earlier, how we take down aces with 0 struggle. For the special tip, if we get a board like this, super dry, on the jack, nope, not dry enough. Alright, we get a super dry board, rainbow, jack 6. How do we play aces here? This is where we can slow play aces. I know, tip number 1, we said don't do it, but if a board is this dry and you are heads up, this is a heads up thing only, guys, you can slow play a little bit. It's player dependent if this will work, so listen closely. If you know you're up against an aggressive player that likes to bet out, check to him. Let him be the lead better, because right now your range could literally be ace king, because that's another 3-bet hand. So player 2 in his head, he's like, I think I could take him with this. It's unlikely that he has a jack in this situation, and he doubts that I have a set of 6s. That's very unlikely. And if he's an aggressive player, he's going to give you a lot of chips right now. So player 2 bets out. We make the call. And what we're going to do is we're going to let him keep doing this as long as he will. So he bets out big, tries to take it down. He's trying to be a bully here. He doesn't realize what we have. So we make a smooth call after thinking about it. You got to think about it, guys. Give us some time. If you snap call, you're so obvious. Don't play like a fish. Think about it. Use a time bank. Make the call. Look very weak with your strong hands. Comes an 8. Oh boy, it just keeps getting better for us. Player 2, now, again, it's player dependent. He could stop here. If he does stop here, then we could either check and see one more card, but I also would accept a bet here and try to take it down, because player 2 is most likely like, okay, he has something I don't see, and he'll fold it if he's a smart player. If he isn't the best player, then it comes to situation number 2. He bets out again. This is perfect for aces in a board like this. This is the only time you can slow play aces, guys. Pay close attention. So he bets out huge. We are shaking in our boots because we know for a fact we have this in the bag. There's no flush. There's no straight draws. No flush draws, no straight draws. We are fine. So he bets out big, and again we make the call. Let's say he does hit something. This would be crazy, because if you think about it, he's already bet with nothing. Think about what he's going to do when he finally hits something. So this is a dream card for him, he thinks in his mind, because he's like, oh good, I've gotten away with taking this one. I finally hit something. Since he didn't fold, I have some showdown value. What player 2 might do is another 2 situation part. He could bet out for the 3rd time. In this bet, he'd probably go all in, if not pot it, because people are going to take you to your limit in this game. What you do is simply call whatever he does, and see the showdown. In most situations, you've won, unless somehow the aggressive player at your table, because this play is player dependent, unless he has a set of 6s, I think we're clear here. And since he is an aggressive player, we can already assume he does not have a set of 6s now, if we are being real. If he is a very tight player and he plays this way, for the love of God, you are behind, get out now. But in this situation, we are against an aggressive donkey. So we went to we went the ropes with him, and we got max value. This is my best tip. Don't slow play aces unless you hit a board like this and our heads up. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed how to play your pocket aces like a pro. Thank you, guys. I'll see you in the next how-to.